Let's enter. And we're back. Woohoo! Look at that.
I don't see anything. Do you see something?
Yep, I saw it when the.
There you are.
There we go. Look at that. All right, let's start all this over because holy cow, technology sucks. All right, so this was all plugged in, ready to rock and roll, and all of a sudden it just didn't want to work, so I had to leave and come back. So let's start with this. The welcome to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim McCleary here, and we talk about golf club repairs, reviews, and fittings. Also, your scores can go low. If you would, like, subscribe, hit that stuff across the bottom, and that way more of this information gets out to the YouTube universe. And I would be remiss if I didn't do this. All right, now we're back. I think the technological crap was, we'll make that for our lead in, considering I really didn't have much of a topic today. And we're going to kind of call it freestyling for a bit. I do have some stuff that we did go over, so let's talk about that first. If you guys saw, I did release a video yesterday. It was on these wedges, right? The Cleveland wedges. And I got to put a special ferrule on them, and they had the Lab Golf, not Lab, LA Golf, had LA Golf on there. And then we put the grips on there. Anyway, I'm looking at my mic now. Anyway, the build was different in that, you know, as I explained in there, that everything showed that it was going to be extraordinarily light. And we're talking from the original swing weight that the golfer had given me. Now, in looking at it, when I tested the shaft, I was literally this far away from the butt section, and so that's telling me it's counterbalanced. So if it's counterbalanced, that means the weight's going to be in the hands, which means it's going to be lighter so you can make them longer. And I'm thinking, and it's a lighter shaft. So all these things combined, I'm going, what is going on here? Well, so I'm getting ready to glue them together, and I put them in there, and I go to measure it, and as I'm going to measure as I'm measuring the length, it's like this far away from the logo, and I'm like, no, something ain't right. So I pull them apart again, I measured the length, and it turned out it was a standard shaft. And we're talking about wedges. So I thought certainly this golfer was going to send me wedge shafts of some variety. Well, it didn't work out that way. So while my glue was drying and I had to move pretty quick, I had to go and cut about 3.5 inches off of it, which was a wedge tip instruction. I didn't want to go any more because I didn't know the exact number of inches that the tip section was. So that's what he got. Now, these lab shafts are very, 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 very stout. So, and when I cut it that far, the hole in the end opened up a bunch, which I didn't see that one coming either. And so all I did is I only had to take out like a 32nd of an inch all the way around in order for that thing to fit in. So I was pretty confident it was going to work. And then we put the weight in, and as I got right up there, I got D4, D5, just like he wanted. So, you know, stranger things have occurred at the Circle McGolf. And so we're just glad that it happened. So would I ever do that? You know, anyway, it's LA Golf. And that now I will say the Cleveland, these tour racks that they have, those tour racks are minimalistically really nice. There's not a lot of flash on them, but man, oh man, there's a lot of functionality in rounded radiused soles. And then when they're radiused, even the back ends have a particular type of a grind. They give you the idea that it is a raw finish, and it really isn't. It's just a very, very dull finish. So it's a very minimalistic approach. And man, I think they look really, really good. And they got a full face, and then they don't. The sand wedge was not the full face like the 60 was, and it is extraordinarily aggressive in between the grooves. So if you were to, it's still going to eat up a golf ball. So hopefully it works out well for him. The other thing that we did, and I put it on my Instagram account, was those. Those are 3 separate different styles of repairs. and they all dealt with broken shafts. So let's go back. The one in the middle is a Titleist iron that, let's just say, experienced anger issues and just needed a straight-on shaft replacement. So again, it was just a twisted out, put in a new one. Bob's your uncle, way to go. And as it turns out, if you look, the ferrule on here, the what they call a 5/8 inch collared ferrule, fits perfectly. So it didn't need a Titleist shaft or a Titleist one to make it look like Titleist. I think that just gives it a very classic look. The second one is the bottom one, the Mavic fairway wood. Now this one has a bit of a story in that a young golfer bought it on eBay. And of course, and when you buy things on eBay and they say, you know, if the price is typically too good, there's a reason for that. Okay. And he was buying it because it had a hazardous, super stiff shaft in it so that he could control it. And it came apart. Well, there was literally that much shaft sticking in the head. That much. And how do I know? Because that's what came out of the shaft. It just kind of went like that. And as you look down into it, there was a whole bunch of glue down in the bottom. And then after I got past the glue, there was another chunk of shaft about this much. So they did this hack job on it in order to make it happen. And so I had to basically take it all apart. So I had to take off that ferrule, which was jammed on there, and drill it all out and get it nice and clean. And then we had to make it shorter, which made it even more stiff, which is what I guess he's going to get. So it is what it is. And that's what happens. What is that? There we go. Well, something just happened. Anyway, let's see. Oh, I'm stuck again. Okay. So anyway, boy, that changed the prospect on it, didn't it? Let's see if we can't make that a little bit better. There we go. Anyway, so we finally got it all the way in, and I actually sacrificed a ferrule. I went to put it on, and the daggone thing cracked, and it was an original Callaway, and it didn't like going on. So I had to use an aftermarket product and got it to get in there, and it worked pretty good. I had to actually put a small shim in it. I'm not so certain that wasn't because it's one of those, that centering ferrule kind of thing. I centered it up myself. All right, and the last one, and quite possibly the most interesting one, is the driver. And if you get in there really close, I wish I could zoom in on this thing for you, but I cannot. This was an FTIZ driver. Is one that has that almost triangular look to it. When they were back in the day, had that big globular ferrule that went in there, and the ferrule in it's about big around as a nickel, and it's pretty big. The whole idea that was literally one of the predecessors to going to an adapter. So that tells you how long ago this is. Anyway, the shaft split. It split along the length of the shaft. So you have to take it apart. Well, in order to take that thing out, because it's basically a face with a head glued onto the back end of it, you just can't heat it up like you do any of the other ones. You got to kind of be gentle and get around it. Well, the thing is that how do you get it on a shaft puller? Because the shaft puller works on the idea that you're going to be able to take out that ferrule, and then the shaft and the hosel that uses the hosel ledge to hold on in your fork in order to hold it on. Well, you can't do that because it's a 100% painted surface, and that ferrule is so big around and so massive, I'd have had to set the club on fire to get it out of there. So because it's made out of a different plastic than the typical ferrules are made out of. It's very, very stout. So what I have is, and I've had it for I've had it for a decade and a half. Okay. And it's an actual milled piece of this poly, we'll give it a funky name, some poly that's very, very hard, and it slides over the shaft, and it's big enough to slide over that ferrule and soft enough not to scratch the paint because it's all been milled soft, And then what happens is that sits in there, and that adapter that I just put on is what catches the fork, and then I can pull it out, and I normally just pull out the entire ferrule part of it, and I've got a really good head in it. Well, now the trick with this one is that the hole in that thing again is about the size of a nickel, and it goes in there about 1.5 inches, but it changes shape to follow the adapter. So you got to go in there and you got to clean it all out. You just basically chuck all the other stuff, and then you got to go and find one that go fit, because those things are starting to become ancient, and they really don't make a lot of aftermarket for ancient stuff, right? So I looked through my stuff, and lo and behold, I had one. So we were able to make that one go. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of differences in how you would look at in doing that. All right. So a couple other things. That was most of the building. Most of the building this week. Mrs. McGolf and I got out and for a dinner, and we stopped at a steakhouse, and she got some shrimp and steak, and I got me lobster and steak and some street corn. So that was very, very yummy. And then, huh? Yeah, we tried to donate some blood, but they canceled on us and didn't tell anybody. So we decided to do that instead. Yesterday we did a pork shoulder. No, yesterday I did a pork shoulder. Is that what I'm talking about now? No, I did not. I said that.
Yesterday was Sunday.
I know. I said yesterday as I did a pork shoulder. You tried to quit putting words in my mouth.
That's my job.
No, it's not. We call that the peanut gallery. All right. Anyway, we did a pork loin, or not pork loin, a pork butt, and it turned out pretty doggone good. All right. One last thing before we go, and the shameless plug, if you would, right there. This is on our Pars and Pours channel. This is hole number 7 of the Ryder Cup. They're getting better. Boy, oh boy, the first couple were rough starts, I got to tell you. And I'm getting more used to it than talking about this stuff. But these are the 2 that are on the tee for hole number 7. We literally talk about the Ryder Cup and some of the factoids that come with that, and some of the factoids that go with Bethpage Black. We actually talk about the holes, and then we do a palette and uniqueness and a nose on those. So if you haven't gone over there, if you wouldn't mind, Pars and Pours, take a look, join us, and we'll see what we can do for about making it a little bit more fun. It's going to grow. It's just with everything else we got going on, we got to kind of take baby steps. Okay, so we got through all that. Let's go back to the top. We talked about at the end of the last live stream, the Opus wedges are being exchanged. They're coming into a new Opus wedge. A little bit, all I've seen is a picture. I don't know what the offerings are going to be. Has a little bit of little more bling in it on the back side. I don't know what's exactly changed, but apparently they've wanted it to change, because you normally don't see a wedge offering mid-year. So I can only imagine this thing is either really, really good, or the other one was really, really bad. And I can't say the one was bad, because that W grind, every time I give it to somebody, it just eats up the golf ball. So it ought to be something well worth doing.
They don't charge an extra for graphite, though.
They are or they are not. Well, they did before.
No, they did.
Mm-hmm.
On wedges.
On wedges.
Seriously.
Yes.
Who does billing? Me?
Yeah, me. Matt says most of my rounds played in the afternoon because of sports and other responsibilities. Well, I got to start learning how to do that, dude, because my mornings are starting to get packed up. This weekend, I washed our car because we're going to sell it, and that took several hours to get done. Plus, we had a lot of weed whacking to do. Plus, we cut down some trees. Plus, we went. Oh, I didn't get to show you that, did I? That was the last one. Let me go back. Media assets. So one last thing that we did is that we went we did 2 things, and I'm only going to show you one. On Saturday, we went to a Grove City Bourbon Festival and met my son there, which we had a good old time. Mrs. McGolf had a much better time than most of us, though. But when we went to Dayton on that Thursday, the we went and picked up the car and we stopped at that at a Mexican place, and it was really good food, by the way. And right next door to it, um, we found a liquor store, and I show you this only because we'll get Matt's comment off of there. If I can go back to the top, because some reason it's all good gravy. There. All right. So you get to see this, and the biggest reason is this Maker's Mark. You get to see that Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark with that wax all the way down to the bottom is called it's called a slam dunk. And it's called a slam dunk because they obviously just put it in there, and they're far and few between. I ran into two of them while tooling around in Dayton, and that one happens to be the stuff that I was drinking with my dad as he was passing away. So certainly that had some we'll say sentimental value. So now we've got it, and here it is. All right, now back to Matt. All righty. Live comments, check on comments to show it on screen. Why would that even be there? All right, no rounds for me. Well, what happened to the last comment? All righty, let's start with this. No rounds for me. How many rounds do you expect to play in a single season? My goal is to get 50, but if I fall short, I will fall short this year. Well, where did that other one go? All right, well, I'm hoping to get 10. At the rate we've been going, I'm going to have to start playing in the afternoons. Normally, I like the mornings because, one, I'm fresh. Two, it's cooler, and so I'm going to have to start getting some afternoon rounds in. Actually, I'd like to get 20. I don't think 20 is too bad to get in while we're in here. I know. And so, Stephen. Matt says to Matt, I generally play twice a week and twice a weekend during the summer. We'll walk 9 after work at least twice a week, give or take. Well, Stephen, you go, man. That's awesome. Okay. Played twice this weekend, 80-82. Not bad for having release issues with the driver. I found 10 fairways all weekend. Ooh, that's a little bit different. Yep. I feel your pain on that one, man. But 80 and 82 still getting around pretty good. Hey, Matt, a minimum of 104 weather permitting. 104. You know if there's no snow on the ground. Yeah, you guys are like the abominable snowmen, the snow golfers. The abominable snow golfers. So anyway, Charlie, here we go. Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit. And this is the bottle kill right here. So we get to finish one. And it is still good. All righty. Charlie says, nice rounds. Matt says, that's awesome, Steve and Charles. So happy to be part of the greatest game there is and so happy to be amongst friends in the community. Well, thank you, bud. Feelings exactly. I'd have to echo that. Greetings, everyone. John Cherry says, how you doing? We'll be down there in a little while. Charlie says he teed off on 5:30 a.m. Woo-wee. Got to the turn. There were 16 people waiting to tee off. So he played 9 holes, shot in there at 39. Holy goalie, man. Wow. You got some early goers there, Charlie. If I got up at 5:30, I would probably be done about 7:45. That would be awesome. Getting back, that would be all kinds of daylight left. Boys admires the dew sweepers. Yeah, I'll take that one. He is too. Well, he can't right now because he's chasing around the kids to see what they're up to. And Jesse says, hello, fellow golfers, especially Jim and Robin. Love your program. Get so much out of it. Well, I'm glad you like it, bud. Here we go. This is where I started. I don't know how it skipped all the way down. Most of my rounds are played in the afternoon because of sports and other kids. Well, there you go. We knew that too. There's Brad. What do you say, man? Anything interesting in the shop this week? Well, Mac, you're still in the neck of the north, and when it come wintertime, that is a fact of life right there. The cold weather is the only time when you get out and play at a nice pace. No kidding. Says, hey, Brad, any rounds this last week? Whole lot less traffic on this. When the snow's coming down, it's always probably a little easier to get on. He's having microphone issues. That computers, go figure. Anyway, Peter, what do you say? Hello from Myrtle Beach. He likes 190 rounds a year. 3 to 4 day tournaments. 75 this weekend. Greens punched. Hard to keep the ball on target. Man, well done, bud. That is a lot. Yep. Hit the like button, please. Thank you, Charlie. Try my group tees off around at 6:50 or 7 on the weekends. I'm down with that, man. Yep, we got through it. Yep. All right, here we go. Lips are moving. I've been accused of that many times, Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Robin Sally is drinking the good. That must be that seltzer stuff.
Probably is.
Okay.
That was good.
Says Peter and Charlie. Here we go. Jim and Robin, I've been considering an elite mini driver. You built my driver at 44.5 and my 3-wood at -0.5. I'm curious at what length you would recommend the mini driver for those specs in mind. I wouldn't change a thing, Ryan. The thing, don't get hung up about the length of the club so much, because these things are meant to work in different ways. What I mean by that is the mini driver comes in at just under 44 inches. That means the head is heavier. Everything is so that it balances out. So you just have a shorter driver that feels really good. Okay. So even if it's shorter than your 3-wood, which it won't be, I would just get the mini driver as it sits and in the flex that you need, and just get it. It really doesn't need one. In fact, buddy of mine at my other work, he was struggling with the driver, and he ended up, I convinced him to get a mini driver. A buddy of his was hitting a TaylorMade. I convinced him to get the Callaway, and although he got it online, I should crucify him for that one. Got online, and the next week he's coming back and says, I haven't missed a fairway, and I'm hitting him just as long. There you go. And that's the whole point, right? So, yep, that's what I would do, Ryan. I would just get it because at the stronger flex, it will be the least amount of loft. Okay. If you're carrying around a 12-degree club, then they make a 12.5. I would suggest that instead. You could go either way, right? The stiff has the 11.5. The regular and below has the I think it's 12.5 or even 13.5, and they can adjust. You can make them less or more, depending on what you're looking for. Thank you. Hello from Texas. Love the show and have a question. My daughter's golf coach is a certified fitter, but he only fits for Callaway. Not sure if Callaway is the only brand we want to consider, and don't. I, too, am a certified fitter. In fact, I'm a master fitter with Callaway. And I think they make a phenomenal product. I got a whole bunch of in my bag, right? Well, there you go. And I do think they make a lot of really good stuff. Is it the only stuff out there? The answer to that is no. A lot of the younger generation is going towards the TaylorMade, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the equipment. It has everything to do with the social media. Does it work pretty good? I'm hearing good things about the QI35. I'm not hearing so much about the 790s. They were the hottest thing on the planet for a long, long time. and all of a sudden, not so much. So I'm not sure what that means, but it is what it is. If you have uh, and of course, he's going to want to sell you Callaway stuff, and if it works, right? And I'm not going to. I'm going to say don't get them, but if you're still questioning it, then if you say take what you could do is this: let him go and fit her, and just figure out where they need to be, and thank you for and paying for his time, and then go to the local PGA Superstore, whatever the golf is, and with those same parameters, go hit one or two other styles just to see if you're seeing anything different, or you might feel something different or see something different and go something like that, and just check it out. Because if he doesn't have it, you're better off to go test it. And that way, even if the Callaway performs equal, if not better, then you can go back to your coach and you can get the stuff from your coach. If you find something that you get out there, and let's just say Mizuno makes something, or Titleist makes something, or something along that lines, right? And it works better, then you can get that. You've paid the coach for his time for the fitting, and you can go get the stuff that you found that works just a hair better. That's the beauty of getting a fitting service, and while you're paying for it, and then because now you've bought that information, that's yours, and then you can go do with it what you will. Now, if you find out that the Callaway is just your ticket, then go back and hook that guy up. That's what I would do. But that we never, when we go through a fitting in here, unless the customer specifically asks for Callaway only, we will always check two or three other models. Always, because you never know. Because there could be a sole grind that gets in the way. It could be the way that the club balances, just different things that get in the way. And you want to make sure, right? And then I ask them, is there anything else that you wanted to try out? And they go, yeah, they'll do this. And I'll throw it at them and let them hit it to get it out of your system so that you don't have any questions. So when you grab that golf club that you finally land on, you're swinging it with 100% confidence. And that makes a huge deal. All right. Based on fitting technology. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Based on fitting technology, club selection, expertise of fitters, and overall value, which location, Second Swing, PGA, or Golf Galaxy would be best option for her? Okay. I don't know much about Second Swing other than they normally, exactly right. It's used golf stuff. Sometimes very good, sometimes it's not. Do they have a lot of guys in there that know what they're doing? I would and it's not to put them down. Let's not go there. But the chances are, from an expertise point of view, it would be a real hard hit to find somebody that was all over it. It'd be like, hit it. Does it do better? Yes. Okay. You're done. And honestly, the other two aren't too far off. Three putt. This is all these are very, very much hit and miss. If you're in kind of this mecca of an area where there's a lot of golf being played, chances are your experience is going to be a little bit better as opposed to a place where it is not. Okay. I like Golf Galaxy is nice. It's been a while since I've been in one. The Superstore certainly would have. I'm trying to think of because I do know the process in one of them. Honestly, if I had my druthers, because you're going to have basically the same options, I would look at Golf Galaxy. Okay. It's not that PGA Tour Superstore, because some of those guys got some really quality guys in there, and some of them wouldn't know which end of a grip to hold on to. However, Golf Galaxy at least has a level of training, and I'm hoping that will pay off. So all that blather I just went through, Golf Galaxy. Here we go. Vodka and root beer. There we go. What up? Charlie, I'm starting to get some feed on nuclear submarines. I don't know if I said it out loud in front of my phone and it's picking it up or whatever, and it's talking about life on a sub. I started laughing when they said the men and women on the sub. And there's all that. Brad, what we got? Charlie, one round at local course, limited amount of driver play, my strong suit, but scrape by with an 82 with 3 doubles. Woohoo! Wow. Awesome. That's a good ball. All right. John Timmons. Good afternoon, Robin and Jim. Gimpy old golfer. How you doing, buddy? All right. Awesome video, Jim. I could put the Acura 85. Wait a minute. Could I put an Acura 85 gram shaft in some old Callaway X-Fords irons and hybrids? Yeah. Yeah. You could do that. You could do that. Not a problem. When did you come in with some of the old X-Fords? In fact, we could probably bend them a little stronger for you so that they're not so antiquated. And we go from there. I will say, would you get, if those 2 X-Fords that are over here?
Yeah.
You get them for me? Okay. Now we're going to show you the new ones. We got some new ones in. I don't know if we showed them to you in the past. We go from there. The video is pretty cool. I was trying to do a little bit more with them. It's fun. I've gone to the one and done stuff, meaning one video a week, just so I could pay more attention to them. And they're a lot of fun to do, honestly. 82 with 3 doubles, not bad at all. I would agree completely. John C. Hello, hello, hello. Here we go. So here's the new ones. If you're looking for some, this one's more of the players. I think this is their idea of trying to get to their blade. That's not a bad looking club, right? And the top line is, I'll put this one down. The top line's pretty small, particularly for a Callaway, right? That's pretty thin. And I would say just the slightest hint of offset. I like the guys come in. You got anything with 0 offset? Sorry, brother. I don't think anybody does that. You might find a Mura that does that. Or, I mean, even blades have they're even made with a little bit of offset. That's just the design factor. Otherwise, it's a shovel. All right, here's the other one that's a little bit more playable. Look at that thing. I could play that one. That's pretty deep cavity right in there, right? I just wish they made it left-handed. If they did, they need to send me one. Now this one, I like this one here. It's got a little bit of soul grind going on it. Very nicely done. I think it's clean. You notice the little X back up in here, and again, it's a really small top line. A little bit bigger club, and holy cow, has about the same amount of offset on it. I'm looking at them together now. Yep. The second one I showed you has a little larger top line, and it's just a hair bigger golf club. Not by a lot. You would never notice if you had one each, but you put them together and then all of a sudden it's noticeable. Good little clubs though. There we go. Hello, hello. Graylin Slinger's in there. Very cool, dude. Glad to see you could make it in. There's Krister. We missed him the other day. I saw him warming up with a 7-iron, but I just didn't see which one it was because I only saw the 7. I was thinking maybe it was that Orca stuff. You know, I guess in watching Alex, the Orca Club got number 1 in what they call it, the Player's Distance model. Their RS1 that looks like a blade. That's what hollow bodies are all about. I guess it did very, very well. I have to check that out. There's Mark. What do you say, bud? Kentucky Spirit. 3 weeks we'll be in Myrtle Beach. Yes, we will. What's new in the bag this week? That you beat me to the punch, dude. There's Hi Ryan. Here we go. 69, 72, 67, 72. Well, at least you're slaying it, Krister. Absolutely slaying it. Now I just need you to stay. Oh, was that during the club champion? The club championship that you're getting ready to go for? Now, certainly tell me somebody didn't beat that. Wayne Nothing. How many years have you been broadcasting on Mondays with What's in My Drawers? I've been watching it for years. You know, I don't know.
You started the live stream during the pandemic.
Oh,
Would have been 20.
so it sounds like we're getting into 5 years. So not too bad. Great playing, Krister. That's what I say. All righty, Krister, you're killing it. Yes. Oh, here we go. He bought a new Callaway X2 Hot Pro 8-degree set, or 8.5 set to 7. A new Callaway X2. Yeah. Those things, the X2s have been around for, holy cow. That's a 10-year-old golf club. Unless there's a new X2 out there. But he's got it set to 7 and he's slanted. Don't give that thing up. What is he shaft? Well, it's got to be an 80-gram X Flex of some variety or a 70-gram X Flex. Hey, look at here. Peter, $19.99. Thank you, sir. Funds to pay for that How to Use Technology for Dummies manual. No kidding. I swear. And I have zero, and Mr. McGough will say it, I got zero temperament for this kind of stuff. Oh, it is hilarious. I mean, I got no temperament for these things. If you buy a tool, it's supposed to be a tool. I don't need it to be anything more than a tool. And when it doesn't act like a tool, then life gets ugly at the McGough household. And that's a fact. That's the reason why, one of the reasons why I got a new tape dispenser. And Grayling Slayer's got it now. And hopefully he's tinkered with it and got himself a working model. But thank you, Peter. That's pretty good of you. Appreciate that. Let's see. Aldila Green 65 stiff. Tour green, huh? 65. What happened to the other one? The Tour green. That is like the Hulk shaft. Yes, it is. Rob's saying thank you. Thanks. Wedge practice fixed some short. There we go. There we go. Can't never hurt with a little bit of short game practice, right? A little finesse. Happy Monday from Austin. How you doing, Phil K? Matt, awesome to hear. Short game practice is so important for scoring. And it is. I would agree completely. When I was on the video the other day, and I was playing everything soft, and I couldn't believe how much easier it was as opposed to trying to muscle it. Just absolutely fantastic. And I'm trying to keep that in my head so when I go out there to do the same thing. Bob's always on me about that. Jack King, good afternoon from a very warm Lombard. Yeah, it got hot up in here again. I wish Efren was in here to listen to us cry about 95-degree weather while he's in Arizona. And it was beautiful. We had a beautiful week, and it felt like a reprieve, and it was in the 80s. And then all of a sudden it turned around. We're back into the 90s again. So it is what it is. Okay, swing it. What are the specs on the Tour green? Tip stiffness, accessibly, etc. Again, the Tour green that came in it, if it's still the same shaft, is a takeoff from the NV. Okay, and the Tour is actually a stiffer profile of the same. Now, if it's the same stock shaft, it won't play as stiff as its aftermarket counterpart, but extraordinarily close. And Aldila used what they called micro layer technology, and instead of taking 16 layers to make a golf shaft, they would take each one of the layers and divide it by 2, and they would use 32 layers, and that allowed them to change the pattern of the grain in order to get a different feel. And if you notice, Aldila and Mitsubishi shafts actually have a different feel. All right. Krister says, yes, it is. It's the longest drive. It's 346. Look at him go. Wow. Helped him make an eagle on a par 5. That was probably one of them 60 score days right there, Charlie. Yeah, that's as far as I get on my second shot, maybe. Wow. Well done. Did you get the tape dispenser? That's a good question. There's the speed that we all aspire to. Past 3 weeks have gone from a 10 to a 6. So why? Okay, Krister, 10 to 6. That's a massive jump when we're talking about almost single digit to in single digit. For those of you that most of us on here understand that, I will say that. But for those that are just kind of lurking in the background, to get down to a 10 handicap is actually kind of a special place. But in order to get into the single digits is even more special. And if you're going to drop over 4 points in a small amount of time, you have to do some extraordinarily good scoring in order to get there. And it doesn't happen by accident. It happens by a lot of good work and a lot of good practice. And if we listen, it sounds like Krister not only got himself a weapon off the tee, but also practiced so he had weapons when he was close to the green. And getting inside the green, if you've read Dave Pell's, and he's since passed, but his books are still worth the effort. Go look up the very first Dave Pell's book, and he's got data. It's data-driven theories on the short game and showing you how to do it. Very good stuff. Robin saying hi to Krister, saying Matt Redlock. Phil K., how's your leg? Mine's finally feeling pretty good without the pain. Yep, just a little hobble every once in a while, but doing pretty good. Krister, that's phenomenal accomplishment, 3 weeks time frame. Yep, that's a fact. He's given us all strokes, all except for Matt. All righty. John says, stopping by to hit the thumbs up button. Hi, all. Hope you're keeping well, not spending too much time in the trees. Have fun or have to run and pick up mama at the airport. Got the house clean. Well, John, that's very important, right? You'd hate for her to come back to that dirty house. What is that logo now? It looks like from here it looks like a donut, but I know it's not. All right, be careful going to the airport. This traffic is always absolutely dangerous around that stuff. But be careful. Coming weekend, I have the club championship. Here we go. 54 holes, 36 on Saturday, 18 on Sunday. Well, good luck, Krister. With those kinds of numbers, just keep that positive karma in your head, and we expect to see that Krister plate at the club championship parking lot this year. There's Wayne. Jesus Castro Burgo. Hey. Oh, look at that. From Spain. Nice. Jesus, how are you, sir? Very glad to see. If you got any questions, throw it out there for us. We've been more than happy. Robin saying hello. So, all good for my well-being. Oh, that's all good. Okay. Good luck, Krister. Have fun. Yeah, we want to hear about all that. That will be a lot of fun to hear about. I want to hear about the free parking space you get, all the free golf for the following year, all the things that come with being a club champion. I started out at an 8.2, had a bad first half. Vacation made it better. Vacation always makes it better. McFly, he says yummy. Yeah, that telling you what, I've found the secret to a good pork butt now. And it was purely by accident. I would like to think that, yeah, I thought it all through and did it. No, that's not how it worked. It worked. We were out actually golfing the first time, and I was like, oh, and my phone dinged, and I looked down, and it was warning me that I was over the limit that I wanted, and I was like, oh, crud, and so I was able to turn the machine off while we were in the car here. I was out there, but I turned off the machine here, and it basically did its cool down period in the grill, and then we took it upstairs, and it just came apart just fantastically. So yesterday we put it on a little bit late. I got sidetracked by washing the car and cutting stuff, but I realized, oh crud, we got to go do this. So we put it on a little bit after 9, just a little bit before 9. We were pulling it off. But I let it get up to just about 200, 203, and then I left it wrapped, and I took it upstairs and let it set for about a half an hour, and then we tore it apart. Oh, my goodness gracious, is it good. There's Robin saying hello to Jesus and to John. Charlie's saying good luck in the championship. Revlock and Charlie, thank you. No doubt. All right. I need to call you about my process getting started to do fittings. I'm about to drop big money buying Club Connect adapters and tap out my credit line with shaft companies. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're going to, if you got some, just give me a holler on the email and we'll schedule a time and may do a Zoom call or we'll do something on this. The actually StreamYard allows me to do that in kind of a meeting format as well. And that way we can just look at each other and talk. But yeah, and Club Connect, you're right. Club Connect adapters, they are not cheap, but they're an unavoidable necessity. All right. Robin says, hello, McFly. He also says something about Wilson coming out with new irons or anything more about him. No, I have not. This is the year that the Dyna Forged should be replaced. And this is the year that maybe the CB will be replaced. Those are the two I'm looking to do because they had that upgrade in their Dyna Power this year. It's a pretty good little club. And then the Dyna Forge is this year as well. I fully suspect, I don't know about the driver yet. The drivers are working well. But I just don't know if they're going to cycle through them like Mizuno did or not. Oh, and maybe even a wedge too. We might even see a wedge. Gentleman says, Charlie. Geez, Charlie, you want strokes from everybody. It must be more than and dollars on the corner. Well, if you saw Krister, now Charlie, every once in a while, he's on a hot streak as well. He's not telling us what he shot other than that one. So we got to kind of look at that. Maybe he's that shark, right? He's that shark. McFly says, hello, Jim and Robin. Hope as well. It is. Thank you very much. And the same for you. Haven't seen our rep. Nope. He'll take, no doubt. Oh, here's a new name. Jeffrey Silbaugh Sr. Are you familiar with Master Grip's 415 putter? I have one that I would like to change the lie on. I am not, but we can look it up. I'm not sure if is it a shaft all the way in or is it on a hosel? How does that work? The Master Grip part is the part that I would have to be more wary of than anything else. So here's the thing. The lie angle, depending on what you want. If it's a shaft that's a double bend shaft and it goes straight in and there's no post, then you're only going to get 1 or 2 degrees, maybe. That's a maybe. Because what you're doing is you're virtually bending the shaft, right? And bending the shaft is a tricky situation. It can be done, but you don't ever get more than that. Now, if it's on a post, and then you can bend that back and forth, that's not a problem. We do that all the time. If it's on a plumber's neck, right, or has that Z-neck, those can be adjusted as well. The second part of this is the material that it's made out of. And I don't know enough about Master Grip. I know that they're kind of on that mail-in order tier. And if it's a steel and not like a zinc or an aluminum, if it's more like a milled or a softened steel, then yeah, it can be done. Not a problem. Charlie, he's laughing at him. Jeffrey saying hi to Robin. I know where I'm coming for a visit. Says, come on down, Charlie and the others. Charlie, I got a whole wall of something for you to try. We'll sit on the back porch and tell sea stories until the water runs out of the doors. Thank you. There's George. What do you say, buddy? Been a while. Have an old Ping G400 head. Great shape. I'd like to reshaft it, but I don't know what shaft to put in it. I'm not looking to what? And then any recommendations. And he says, hello. So let's go back. G400. So G400. So the big thing with the Ping clubs back in this era were, and even beforehand, was that they had the head did like this because the shaft had a massive amount of torque in it. And torque is the number, it's measured in degrees and pounds as the shaft turns like this when you put a pound weight on it, right? How many degrees does it move? And 3.2 to 3.5 in the normal standard measuring is normally that's a sweet spot for shafts. For some reason, at one point, Ping thought it was cool to put in 4 and above, and it made it feel soft, but the dispersion was massive, absolutely massive. So you want to look, I will give you this. Look for something that has a torque rating in that 3.2 to 3.5 range, and then pick a weight and a flex that you like, and you should be good to go. Typically, those in that category are the mid-flight. Since I don't know how you hit the ball, mid-flight, and you're right down the middle. But that'd be where you want to go. What kind or that kind? There's just so many. There is, like, the stuff I can get was in the VRTX line, which is a Project X shaft. The Acra GTs in the green is one. The Denali, if you wanted to look out there, the Denali would be very, very close. Not the super stiff one, but the one in the middle, I believe. The blue is the hard one, and the black one is the middle. The Denali black would pull that off. The Tour AD in the orange would do that. Where am I looking? There are some hazardous shafts that they have the torque rating on them and their little hazardous symbols, 3.2 to 3.5. That would help you as well. All righty. Any recommendations? Just did. Could. Hello. And hanging back. What's the proof in that one? So I didn't look. It was the Kentucky Spirits. It was a single barrel. So I'm going to guess in normal traditional fashion from those guys, it's about between a 112 and a 116, maybe. In the teens. Now I pulled another one down because this one's going to go on the Ryder Cup here in the next couple of holes. This one is Middle West. It's a Columbus. It's a Columbus rye, and it is the one that's made with the pumpernickel rye. Everybody was falling all over themselves for this stuff, and so I picked one up a long time ago and just opened it today in order for it to breathe a little bit. Middle West just bought Old Elk out in Colorado, so we'll see how that works out. All right. Do you have an experience with even roll? Yeah, a little bit. And or is it even roll or even flow? It was even flow, yes, and I did not like him. Even roll, but the even roll putter, yeah, I like the even roll putters. They're pretty nice. That's by that guy starts with his name starts with a V. He helps Vern. Holy cow, I'm missing at it. Anyway, I met the man. Hell of a putter designer. Very, very nice. And the gravity grip, yeah. So the gravity grip it's basically a putter grip. Now this is not a putter grip, we understand, but this is the top of the grip. The bottom of the grip is a little bit bigger here, and there's literally a weighted rod that goes up and down in there to make it heavier and set in your fingers. But yeah, even roll makes a good putter. So yeah, and the gravity grip is something I would be wanting in my club. G27, there he is. What would be the next piece of club repair equipment I should get? Not having issues with pulling shaft or not having pulling shaft, swing weight, or something else. Thanks for everything. Should I get not having issues with pulling a shaft, swing weight, or something else? So you said, I remember you telling us that you were doing grips. If you got the speed clamp, then you're good there. The vise is always good to have. Uh, it just depends on the mechanical point of what you're doing. If you got the ability to cut a shaft, tip a shaft, and pull a shaft, you've got quite a bit going on right there. So now it's about measuring the shaft or measuring the golf club. So you could do something like the Accumade ruler or some variation of that, so that all your builds are consistent. Something in the way of a frequency machine, so or something to measure flex. There's two ways of going about it. There's doing it the frequency, the way I do it. The other one is by strain, and basically you put the shaft in a holder, and you put this strain on it, and it bends it, and it tells you how it flexes by strain. The people will die on that hill saying that's better, and you do get more information from the golf shaft, to be sure. But if you're doing it just to if you're just taking out shafts and putting shafts back in, or you're just doing the take it out and putting it back together, and you're not really worried about all that stuff, of course the shaft puller is the way to go. A swing weight scale, if you wanted something to start with and afterwards, possibly. But I would look at the machines to make your life easier to do the tasks that you're looking for. And Golf Mechanics or Golf Works is pretty much the place to go. Now, there is one other thing that just popped in my head, is a loft and lie machine. The good loft and lie machine will make your day a lot easier too. Oh, I didn't catch the email that come in later.
No, you missed it.
I missed it.
Yeah, you totally missed it.
Okay. There's Kent. For sure, what works best. Hey, what do I know? I'm awake again. Well done, sir. Very well done. Hey, everybody. Kent's in the house. It's like when Kent walks in the room. Norm! All right. Big box stores aren't real fittings. I would have to agree. But if that's all you got to start somewhere. There we go. Thank you, Kent. Get guided fitted into what makes the most money. Yeah, we don't want that.
I looked at my mother's ring.
Okay. Look at Robin. She's jumping in there too. Wonder what that's like. Life on a sub. Yeah, me too. Golf, yes, that's why small fitters are often better. And they're very not most of them are brand agnostic. They're really not interested in the sell as they are into the fit. Very claustrophobic, Charlie. Actually, Charlie's not, and neither am I. Those are the one. That's actually kind of funny that way. Yep. Can't even get an elevator now. Oh, he lies like a cheap rug. Oh, wait a minute. That's it. That's the reason why. Not because of the sub. That'd be no good on a tube underwater. Yeah, you get used to it. That's in a tube. Well, that's true. Grayling Slayer, what do we got? 53 on my local 9 holes today. Shot a 48. Nice. He's up there. He's up in that way up north. Worse on it if you definitely get wet on that way around. Yeah, do the old Indiana Jones thing. Glad I took part took your recommendation in the 445 wood. This thing feels and sounds so good. Good. Glad you like it. Those Callaways look left-handed on the video feed. You know, when I was looking in there, I thought the very, very same thing, but there they are. And that is definitely a right-handed club. When I looked at the other one, I was showing them up, Rex, I was like, man, that looked left-handed. Did I get this all kinds of wrong? But no, Unfortunately not. Gary Ratte, my grips are turning a little in the butt, but playing 100-degree weather, is that normal? No, it is not. 100-degree weather, could it possibly help with that? Yes, it could. The thing that would tell you if that was it is take them indoors and let them cool off and see if they still turn. What we've been seeing here lately is the CP2 models and one other Golf Pride model are I've had a handful, not a bunch, just a handful. And guys telling me, even Efren called me and asked me about that they're turning. And there's something about that little plug in the back. If you just don't get it set just right, it could be problematic. Now, the other part about that is there could be, even in 100-degree temperatures, there still could be something trapped underneath there because there's no place for it to go. And just take a little needle, about the size of a bicycle, pump needle, and just poke it in there and just see what happens. And if it's, releases its air, you pretty much did what you need to do. And check that out. All righty. Played the newly put together 7 irons with the TPI. Feels to me like the heads are not consistent coming through the ball. Any ideas? The TPIs, I would think that because you said you're slightly aggressive. I know about the tennis background. It might be just a feel. Obviously, it is a feel thing because it says it's feel not coming through there. I would give them just a tiny bit more time first. Now, the other part to this is you might also consider like you would on a tennis racket. Put a couple wraps around the tennis racket and see if that doesn't help you. Because you went from a different kind of shaft and a different weight of shaft to this, it might be just a balance thing that just kind of feels funky to you. The other part is for that feel in the head. Try a couple layers of that of lead tape and just see what happens, making it just slightly heavier. That might be it. 3.9 degrees of torque. I find that is a lot of torque for that club. That is a lot. That's a lot. For even the tour stiff. That has to be an aftermarket or an OEM one. Couldn't get the newly built 3-wood off the ground today. Had a bunch of long rollers. As long as you get them out there. I had a buddy of mine I played with, couldn't hit the ball more than 100 yards in the air, but the damn ball had so much topspin on it, it rolled another 150. It's crazy. Yeah, that's no doubt. Simple solution is pay your 5-wood off the deck. That's what I do. No doubt. There we go. Not arrived yet. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully you get a hold of it. Everything gets delivered by private contractor. Oh, okay. Bought 24 Pro V1 balls today for practice and the club championship. They are quite pricey, that is for sure. Probably the most out there. And there it is. Charlie says the most expensive ball you can buy, and he is not lying. It's played it is, yes, it is played them all season. Well, good for you. There you go. So that means you're not losing them. Krister, the Kirkland SIGs are cheap as chips. Yes, they are, but probably in a different category than the Titleist. But I am liking the Maltby TSI 2 3-wood built with an Aldila NV Green 65R Flex and a pure grip. I was getting some nice long shots with good rollout last week. Welcome to being a golfer. Welcome to being a golfer. The driver doesn't work this week. Wedges don't work next week. Yeah. Well, that's some good stuff. I'm using their TS3s. I like the TS3s, McFly. But they got to start making that kind of stuff left-handed. I get on Britt and those guys, Britt and Mark out there, but it falls on deaf ears. And Pete would do it if I asked him, but then I'd have to pay for everything. I don't have $10,000 to make for a set of Maltby's clubs. For years, I played the Maltby T forged irons. They're good clubs. I tell you what, my fitting irons, every one of my fitting irons is a Maltby club. Super helpful. Jim was looking at the Tour AD. Well, very good. It is a good one. You're not going to be disappointed, to be sure. Any updates on the Pat front? No, there is not. Sorry. I know what you're saying. No, I've played so few rounds this year. It's ridiculous. My driver went south last year, and I just stopped thinking about golfing for a while. So now I'm back into it. I'm playing catch up. So hopefully we'll do a little bit better. Charlie, not only do they have a distillery in Columbus, but they have at least 3 that I'm aware of. They have Echo Spirits. They have this Middle West, they have High Bank, and they have Watershed. They all have their pluses and their minuses. The been to Watershed, Echo, that thing this weekend, I tried the couple that they had, a couple products they had, and I'm going to have to say were pretty good. We found one in Dayton. It was called the Bell of Dayton, or Dayton Barrel Works. And it was the Dietrich, and man, oh man, that was something else. And of course, Middle West is last year just had just an absolute banger of a bourbon, and they came out with that rye, this pumpernickel rye, and everybody went crazy for it. So we're going to try it right here, and that's at 116 itself as well. Shaft goes in all the way in curve. So it is probably, Jeffrey, so it's probably that double bend. And if it is the double bend and it goes in all the way, you're only going to talk about getting a degree or 2 of adjustment. And there will always be that risk of somebody denting the shaft. So you got to play that one really close. And it's probably one of the hardest ones. Locally, you probably won't get anybody to do it. And it would be, and the ROI on that is not going to be very high. Look at all this. How long before Lab folds now that the asset strippers are 51% shareholders? Yeah, I was wondering about that myself, of whether or not if that's their end game or not, Kent. I would imagine it will hold off. It will hold off as long as they're making money or they're popular. But the second that happens, it's over. But then again, if they might throw some money at it and then get him out there a little bit more and try and increase their distribution, because you got a U.S. Open winner now playing that branding iron, so there's something to it. Charles, I built a set of TSI 2 5 through the gap 4 years ago, and because I like to tinker in the winter, when I can't play, I like them a lot. They are very nice. Their forging methods, although they don't do them, they go to the same houses that a lot of the other people do, so the quality is right there. They get shut. That's what these companies do. Get short of staff, bring time and motion in, use cheaper, lesser quality components than sell on the whole lot. Yeah. I hope we don't see it, because they really have a thing going for them. Says Charlie, I would have bought the driver and the 3-wood and the 5-wood 4 years ago. I was only able to buy the 3-wood a few weeks ago. Go for that next one up. Do they have the rest of the woods now? Maybe you could get them. I don't know if they do or not. That one, they probably went to the next model. You can find them in the sales section, though. You might find them there. Pat, enjoying the clubs. What is the advantage of a mini driver? Deb, I think you would really like the mini driver, and you need the 13 degree one. I think you would really, really like that one. So the idea of the mini driver is, we've all been talking about it. The OEMs are finally admitting it, that the shorter driver gives you a little bit more control. But when you get this more control, as the club gets shorter, you can find the middle of the golf club better. And when you find the middle of the golf club better, your drives go a little bit further. So the whole adage of, well, you made it shorter, you won't be able to hit it as far. That is only true if you hit them exactly the same, because the only thing left is the mechanism, or the arm length of the swing, which is a little bit longer, meaning that you might generate a mile an hour or two, probably two, in order to get it out there. Outside of that, it's no different. Now, I will say for me, I was able to find the middle of the golf club better, more frequently, and putting me in places that I can still play from in the fairway or just on the edge of the fairway. And that allows me, and I'm not losing any distance. There's a couple of times where I thought that, but then I turn around, I drill two more. So, but that's where that's at. Now, honestly, both of you could probably take some advantage of it, but but for you, I think it would work out really well. Ken says, thumbs up, guys and gals, please, if you would. We appreciate that. And again, since we're getting very close to the end, that if you get a chance, Pars and Pours, get over to that YouTube channel as well if you're interested in golf and or whiskey together. This Ryder Cup thing has actually taken on a life of its own for me. In order to find out more about Bethpage Black, more about the Ryder Cup, and then you have to, I have to go back and look at these different distilleries and do some research so that we have more talking points than somebody shoving a glass in your nose and drinking in front of you. So it's actually been quite fun. All right. Yeah, I tell you what, this has been kind of weird because Robin was doing the same thing last week. The clubs are shown look like left-handed in the video, so must have reversed it. Can only assume that's the reason. Probably, because if you were to look at it like this, okay, so this is swinging to what would be the right hand, right? This is right-handed, because for me, I'm left-handed, and I would be swinging like this way, and that'd be backwards, right? There it is. But on the first one, you're right. I saw it. I thought the same exact thing. Charles, they're discontinued. Not sure if they're going to reproduce a second generation of them. They're on the second generation of the TSI2 now. That's probably what you're going to get. Yes, I am. Hey, Herman, what do you say? Thinking upgraded to SP Opus wedges this Friday or Thursday. We shall see. Well, you won't be disappointed, Herman. They are very, very nice, to be sure. If you're a bit of a divot taker, do not be afraid to go with a W grind. The W grind is not as wide as previous generations. I think it's a very nice change. It's just slightly wider than the standard. I think it plays just as easy as the standard, and a lot of people get underneath of it. It also has an extra 2 degrees of bounce. So now if you're a person that sculls the ball quite a bit, then yeah, you don't want that. But for just ease of play, that's the way to go. All right. There's Efren. Super busy to get free. Make some comments. Just watch your latest 2. Great job. Thank you, bud. Turns out we did make the swing weight, Efren. So what do I know? Grayling, sorry to hear about that. Hard to find club that works very well. Yes. Might need something between the driver and the 4 hybrid. Well, that would work. I mean, my buddy hits it off the deck as well. But before you do, I would say, you could look at mine, but mine's left-handed. But at least it can give you an idea of whether or not you think you'd be comfortable with it. Mark Immelman's podcast, On the Mark, just released an interview with Labs founder. It gives insight to the merger. Oh, okay. Didn't know he had a podcast, but I can listen to Mark. He's pretty cool. Hi, Efren. Hi, Barry. Wayne, I like it. I like when all the clubs look left-handed. Me too. I wish they were. I wish they really were. Oh, I'm waiting on those. I got to get the 150s out too. I also got is the right-handed version. One of the unsung ones now. Here I am, a Callaway guy. The new Elite 150. It's a nice little club. For those that like the look of a blade, don't want a whole lot of offset, but still want to hit it pretty far. It's a neat little distance club. I would certainly take a look at that going forward. I'll be getting 60 degrees and S-grind. There you go. That's a good combo right there. I've done quite a few of those. Very, very easy to do. Very easy to do. Okay. Well, guys, it looks like we went about 15 minutes. Well, actually, we went almost 20 minutes over. Thank you, guys. And we hit Spain. We hit Sweden. We hit the upper East Coast. We hit locally here. We hit Alaska. I mean, we're talking about all over the world here. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for stopping in and asking the questions. And don't be a stranger, right? So we're going to take off here, get reset back up. And as always, guys, let's see your scores go low.